Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today we're going to have a look at the brand new update 1.0.1 for the CAOS DA-42. Also, this is going to be the first time we fly the TDS version on this channel, since previously we only flew the Dash 6, which has slightly stronger engines. Likewise, we are going to have a brand new look at ORBX new Anacortes airport for Microsoft Flight Simulator, where we are going to do this little check flight up here. So, the update for the CAOS DA-42 has been released a couple of days ago, and amongst others, they did quite some changes to the flight model, fixing yaw damper oscillations, reduced the flap pitch down moment, and increased elevator authority to improve takeoff with flaps 1, reduced the gear down pitch moment, increased stability in crosswind landings and takeoffs, and a couple of others. Since one of the items is an increased ground shake, I am going to completely quit FS Realistic for this video, and I will do it completely without. Likewise, they did fix the don't sink callout on the G1000, so that we should be able to do traffic patterns now without getting those warnings. There's also quite a couple of improvements to the 3D models and some sound improvements, so we can be sure to have some excellent flight today. Now, this is also going to be one of those how to lose your pilot license videos, seeing that we are going to start straight in the hangar, and we are going to head right into our DA-42 over here. It's 2 people on board, full load of fuel, so we are at a rather heavy weight today. Alright, so the aft door is closed. Let's go ahead and close that canopy over here, and then we can start with our setup. So before start checklist, please. Pre-flight inspection completed, mass and balance check, papers on board, emergency equipment check, canopy and rear door locked, park and brake is set. Right, all static and emergency gear checked, avionic master off. So, horizon cage and holds on, looking good. Alright, electric master on, check the circuit breakers, and they are all in. And do note we don't have fuel pumps on this particular airplane over here. Alright, so elevator backstop check. So the way we do this is pull the elevator all the way back, then advance power levers, and that should remove the maximum backwards position of your elevator. Alright, so flaps up position set, flight controls are checked, and left and right fuel selectors are on, and we do have sufficient fuel on board as we are fully loaded. Before start checklist complete. Alright then, cool. I'd say we're about ready to go ahead and start up our engine. So starting engine checklist. Power levers idle, ECU swap, auto, alternators on, ADIS and startup clearance is not required on here. So strobe lights on. Okay, propeller area is clear, and now just to say this one more time, never start your engines in a hangar, okay? Just don't do it. Alright, so, engine master 1 on, observe the glow light, and when the glow light goes out, this is the first fix, and indeed the click spot has gotten much larger here for the key, so let's go ahead and turn that to the left. Right, and that's a good start on engine number 1. Let's go ahead and check our oil pressure, which is coming, and then we can do the same for engine number 2. Engine starter on, observe the glow light, and as soon as that is off, we're going to start engine number 2. So that thing, for sure, they did a very good fix on. The click spot to start the engines is now an excellent size, very easy to use on both sides. Alright, so oil pressure is checked, and that's the starting engine checklist complete after start checklist. Avionic master on, altimeters and QNH. So that is set 1018. And since we're in the US, let's quickly go ahead and change that over to inches. Alright, common nav GNS for departure. So literally all I want to do over here is set a pattern altitude of 1300. And that's all, since the rest of our flight is going to be conducted VFR. Alright, so gyro, check, stall, and stall warning.
Check gear.
Right, checked, and park and brake is released. And that's the after start checklist complete. Right, so now, careful, let's give it a go.
Pause system test. Okay.
Roger, thank you. And off we go. Brake check. Looking good. So we are clear on the left side and clear on the right side. And let's taxi out over to the left because I really like this look of American general aviation airports, you know. You're looking around and just like US cities, it's really... It just looks planned and tidy and stuff, if you know what I mean. But it's also rather tight up here in order not to clip your wings, if you look at that. Right, let's just go ahead and take that little shortcut. Well, shortcut, let's take that little route over here. And just have a look at all those hangars and what it looks like over here in Anacortes. Really like that airport, really throws me back to good old memories of FSX and P3D. Alright, let's not go too quickly across the turn. You can see how tight it is with our wings, but that is just about fine. Right, airport lounge over here. Well, as far as you can call it like that, I suppose. But if we have a look at that, it does look pretty neat, doesn't it? Alright, cool. I do prefer my senator lounges at the international airports, though. Right, so, is there windsock anywhere around? Yeah, there it is. So we gotta go out to the left-hand side. I do have a feeling that this car is parking a little bit close to the taxi line, though. So let's just deviate a little bit to the right of it. Just for the sake of not creating a couple $100,000 worth of damages here. Right, quick word on taxi model here. The airplane does taxi pretty fine with just a slightly increased thrust in order to get it moving. Then you go back down to idle, and it does roll very, very nicely like that. If we go a little bit quicker through the turns, let's just do that now, then you can see your turn radius somewhat increases, and it does become a little bit more difficult to control the airplane. But overall, it still works rather okay. So now we are taxiing this all with idle thrust, all the way down to idle, and it does work pretty fine. We do still need quite a bit of right rudder input in order to keep our airplane going straight. So with the update, that has not changed like completely, but they did do a little bit of work here on the flight model, which I'm sure we are going to see once we're airborne. Right, we're going to stop over here, and we'll make our run-up procedure right over here, so that we don't have to stop in the turn, since the hold bar is directly over there already. By the way, really nice signs here. Help us be good neighbor, make your turn beyond the shoreline, and please observe noise abatement procedures. It's funny how they put these things here at a lot of US airports, because there just is no exactly defined traffic pattern over here. Really like that. Alright, cool. So, parking brake is set, then we can do the taxi checklist. Brakes check, flight control operation check, flap operation. Right, here we go. It's checked. Okay, and turning instruments, I did look at them as well, so they're checked. Okay, run-up checklist. Power levers in idle. ECU 1 and 2 test buttons. Let's give that a try. So, ECU 1 test. Alright, so look at that. Now the ECU test has been fixed with that update as well. Previously it showed both ECU failed, and the way this now works is that you can see the airplane is going to conduct the different ECU tests. So first you had ECU A fail, that indicated that ECU B was controlling the engine exclusively. Now I've got ECU B fail, and that indicates a swap over to ECU A for the test. I'll do the same on the other end side. Right, so first of all it starts with ECU A fail, does apply some load to the engine there, and now that is going to change over to ECU B fail, indicating that now ECU A is the operating engine controlling, or is the operative controller controlling the engines. So that is now, that's correct over here. Okay, so ECU tests done, then let's do ECU swap over to system B. Like that, and the engine continues to run normal. Okay, so back in order. And power levers, check, idle, and that's the run-up checklist complete. Let's do the before takeoff checklist. So, flaps for takeoff are up, autopilot not engaged and ready, takeoff and departure briefing. So, let's do a quick emergency briefing there. Continue takeoff with a failed engine, has to be avoided if at all possible. Engine failure or severe malfunction before liftoff, we abort the takeoff, throttles closed, brake as needed. After liftoff with sufficient runway, land on runway, throttles closed, check gear down, flaps full, brakes as required. Below 75 knots in each case, land on runway or suitable area. If no sufficient runway, maintain heading, prepare forced landing, avoid obstacle, maximum 30 degrees left and right. Above 70 knots above 75 knots, without sufficient runway, decide to abort or continue. If we continue, power levers max, rudder apply for directional control, maintain heading and airspeed, positive climb gear up, flaps up, pitch for blue line 82 knots, and secure that engine. In all cases, inform ATC and state intentions as necessary. So we are going to use runway 36 over here. And that runway is sufficiently long. We're going to do a rolling takeoff with the flaps up. The runway is dry with a slight left crosswind. Rotate at 72, climb at 85 knots, and cruise climb later on at 90. Leaving traffic pattern via the crosswind flag. Climbing 2, I would say we just do about 3 or 2,000 feet is going to be sufficient at first. So let's go ahead and make sure that 2,000 is actually set up here as well. Alright, awesome. And that's pretty much it. Any questions on the briefing? No? Excellent. So, emergency briefing completed, rudder and canopy. Canopy and door locked, rudder adjusted, trim. So that's set into the takeoff position. Belts fastened, fuel selector left and right are on, landing lights are gonna come on now. Basically, I'll just put all the lights on, honestly. Takeoff time copied, and park and brake will be released in a moment. So, transponder on, we're going to prepare the timer here for becoming airborne, and that's the before takeoff checklist complete. Okay, excellent. So, that is going to be our park and brake released. Then let's go ahead and line up. So, clear on the approach. Once again, I have to emphasize how much I like the taxi model on the DA-42. The thing just really works, and it taxis really nicely. Can control it very, very well. A little lack here. Only when hitting that brake, it's going to be a little bit over-controlling, but okay. So, lineup checklist. Transponder, alt, gyro runway heading checked, torpedo and stall heat. Let's quickly turn that on. Okay, on, and instruments and RGAs checked, lineup checklist complete. Alright, awesome. Are you ready to go then? I would say so. Okay. So, that caution is stall heat fail, that's expected. Alright then, brake released. Timing. Takeoff. Now let's see how that's gonna work. Wind is slightly from the right. Power set. We need a little bit of left rudder here in order to keep it on the center line. That's very good. Alright, rotate. And it reacts immediately. Very, very nice. Awesome job. Right, positive climb, gear up. So let's put that yaw damper to the test. I'm going to turn it on straight away now. Okay, we're above the shoreline. Excellent. So then let's do our left turn out, and landing lights can come off. Load back to 90% on both engines. Here we go. Excellent. Oopsie, I do have a couple stutters here from time to time, it does seem. But mostly it's running smooth. Well, that's some update 15 beta, I suppose, causing a couple of those stutters. At least I would absolutely not be surprised. Okay, so, a couple other things there. Reduced flap pitch down moment and increased elevator authority to improve takeoff with flaps 1. Well, I suppose we're gonna do that after a touch and go. Then we reduce the gear down pitch moment. Well, increased stability in crosswind landings and takeoffs is also on the feature list, and I do have to say that worked pretty well. Okay, reaching our designated cruising altitude, 2000 roughly. So load back 72%. And look at that, flying pretty nicely, isn't it? Okay, let's do the after takeoff and cruise checklist. So, landing gear up, flaps up, power lever 70% set, landing light off, after takeoff checklist complete. Cruise checklist, power lever 70% set, altimeter and QNH remain on local 3007, and annunciations, engine and systems are getting monitored, cruise checklist complete. Alright, so, I couldn't see any of those oscillations from the yaw damper that people did talk about a little bit earlier on, so I do assume that they are fixed for now. So what we're going to do is we will do a touch and go, and then use flaps 1 for the takeoff after the touch and go. And in the meantime, all I can say over here is that it does really still have that very smooth flight model. I do really like it. And by the way, flying the TDS engines for the first time, a small comment there of the flight model. So I did say in my first video, flying the DA-42, that I did collect some pitch and power data for the TDS engines. And indeed, when we're looking at the pitch and power numbers here, 70%, 130 knots is spot on. That is exactly how it should be. Alright, so down there is our airfield, Anacortes. So I do suggest we're just going to do a right-hand turn. We'll stay over the ocean, since they already asked us so nicely in the on all those signs all over the airport. Right, going to maintain 130 knots, descend down to pattern altitude 1300, and then we can start our traffic pattern. Yaw damper itself is working pretty nice over here. Nothing to complain about. And by the way, really beautiful region with Anacortes is located. Can't wait to do those traffic patterns. I do think we're going to do 2 patterns or something the likes, just to see how the airplane is going to feel like when operated now. Or rather when the flaps on the gear are operated, all the lovely stuff that we used to find on the changelog. Alright, here we go. Down at 1300, pattern altitude. Speed is coming back nicely. Let's go flaps 1 and see how much of a difference that's going to make on the trim. Right, flaps 1. Okay, we can clearly see the nose does come down. We do need a little bit of elevator up in order to work against that, but it does work rather nicely. It does feel right, that much I can say. Right, so 50% load should be roughly correct for traffic pattern. So let's see how much that is going to give us. We go 50 and 50, and we're looking at roughly 100 knots. Very nice. Alright, cool. So gear down. Let's see how much of an effect on our trim that has. Okay, the nose is clearly coming down, which does absolutely make sense. If you think about that the entire gear is located below the center of gravity of the airplane, obviously that is going to pitch the nose down, which is completely expected behavior. Okay, so let's go back inside. We can slowly start our descent. Over there is the airport. Keeping a little bit of distance from the shoreline, as they asked us to do. Okay, it's rather hard to see where the runway actually begins. I do believe the beginning is right over here. Alright, so, flaps full. That was quite a pitch up moment right now. Okay, so, turning on to the actual base. So we are approaching uphill. That is going to mean that we will probably have an optical illusion there on the way in. Let's try to avoid that. And let's see how that's going to work out. Right, so landing checks. Gear down, flaps full, no clearance required. And I do believe we're a little bit high right now. But look at how much displaced the aiming point actually is over there. But always remember, we don't necessarily have to use that aiming point. Especially on an airport like that, we can touch down much earlier. Right, I do believe this is looking better now. So speed is slowly coming back. Oh, but we do need a bit more power. Okay, power off. Come on. And we're done. Okay, so flaps back, trim set for takeoff. So let's see how it's gonna feel like now. Set power. Power set. Right, 70 knots, rotate. Very nice. Okay then, positive climb, tap the brakes, gear up. Alright, starting the left-hand turn, back into the pattern. Should probably have turned the yaw damper off a bit earlier, but doesn't matter. Alright, so, flaps up, power down to 90, and then we can climb 1300 feet. And I am going to extend the traffic pattern a little bit so that we don't overfly the terrain and the houses over here. 90 knots is a good climb speed. What's that rudder warning about? Okay, now it's gone. Not 100% sure where that came from, but it's alright. Okay then, starting our turn again. So, for the traffic pattern, power about 50% should work just about fine. And here we go, 50% is set. We'll remain over the water over here, as they wanted. Avoid the shoreline. And I do think that we've seen what we want to see. So the plane is behaving pretty nicely. The click spots are fixed. Overall, it does seem like a well-rounded first update, especially for being out, you know, just like a week after the initial release. So they did make good use of their time. Right, gonna start our inbound turn over here. So, landing lights on. First stage of flaps. Gear down. A little bit less power maybe, since we're flying the pattern a little bit tighter than we did last time. Also, good lookout as we overfly this little island down here, because those butters, they do scream bird for me. They really do scream bird. Alright, full flaps. Landing checklist, gear down, flaps full, no clearance required. Landing checklist complete. Beautiful looking area, isn't it? Really beautiful looking. Okay, so starting our final turn. Okay, yacht anchor off, as it should have been for the first landing already. Okay, this approach is looking much nicer than the first one. So, power off. A little bit crosswind. Alright, we're down. A little bit more positive, but you could see how we were just about to be slightly driven off the runway there, and I thought, like, well, just plunge it down onto the runway, and that is going to avoid that drift off, and it did. Okay, cool. So, vacating the runway. And here we are. So, nice two little traffic patterns. 11 minutes of pattern work, and we're back in Anacortes. Okay, so stop it right over here. And then let's go ahead and read the after landing checklist real quick. So, flaps up, pitot heat off, transponder, standby, landing time is recorded, and fuel selector will put it down at cross feed, and that's the after landing checklist complete. Alright, awesome. So let's taxi back to the apron. A little bit more power, I suppose. Here we go. So, a couple of Cessnas parking over here, but we are gonna go back to where we came from. Past the fuel station, Route 66 over here. We'll go straight back to the right-hand side. And then back onto our hangar. Just gonna be a little bit careful over here so that we don't run into anything with our wingtips, because this airport is pretty tight. It's surely going to be a challenge for your taxi skills. The only thing that I'm not going to do, though, is to taxi the plane into the hangar. We're going to park immediately in front, and then we'll push it back in. Alright, stop it here. Was a little bit hot on the brakes, I do have to admit. Okay, cool. So, parking brake set and parking checklist, please. So, parking brake set. Power levers have been in idle for 2 minutes. Engine indications are checked and all green. Okay, so avionic master off, engine master off, strobe light off, electric master off, parking checklist complete. So that was an easy go. And I do have to say, flies pretty nice. They did some good updates over there. The DA-42 feels quite a bit better. And I do have to say, Anacortes looks pretty cool as well. So thank you very much, ORBX, for providing me that preview copy over here. And it is an awesome area to fly in. Now, by now we got so many airports that I would completely love to fly a lot more in, that it starts getting rather difficult to feature them all, but honestly gotta say that Anacortes will probably see me again on a second flight. So for now, that's gonna be it though. So I do like to thank you very much for watching. Hope that you have enjoyed this one. Be sure to leave a like in YouTube as well, as that does really help out the channel. Comment to let me know what you think about this one and what you think about this kind of airport preview. And finally, if you're up for more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Last but not least, as always, if you did like the video, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. I would now like to say thank you very much for watching, everyone, and see you all again on the next one.